contrast that, Mark, with across the city in the East End, where there's an anxiousness now
Yeah,
with the
absolutely.
fans, midway through. Because Celtic dominated the game, although Kilmarnock had a go at times, and then they were on the offensive in the last 20 minutes. They got the goal and they could have got another one.
Yeah.
What's happened at Celtic, though?
Well, first of all, I think Kilmarnock thoroughly deserved a point. Joe Hart had 2 very good saves. Will Dennison, the Kilmarnock goals, had 1 or 2 saves. But it just seems toxic. Seems toxic at Celtic and behind the scenes. And I said in this programme 2 or 3 weeks ago, something will need to give. The fans are not having the current setup. And I think the anger's more at the boardroom and recruitment and the manager. The manager's not blameless and supporters are not letting them off. But I think it's more about behind the scenes in terms of the hierarchy. And I think a lot of Celtic supporters have had enough. I spoke about recruitment not being good enough. And I'll back that up, Paul, by saying one example. Bernabei. Now, I'm not jumping the back in because of Saturday. I've said this consistently. They've known for at least a year that they need better in the left back area. Now, in January, I'm not saying you could have got out and get better than Greg Taylor. I really like Greg Taylor. But you're not telling me you can't get better than Bernabei as your backup. You're solving 2 problems. You're getting rid of a guy who's probably a good earner, who's nowhere near it. Try to tell me, for example, off the top of my head, you couldn't have gone and get young Mackenzie at Aberdeen to come and play for you ahead of Bernabei. So the fact that they've left the manager with that is shocking. Absolutely shocking that he's been left with a player who's nowhere near the standard of a Celtic jersey.
What can give then, Mark? Because the transfer window is over. I know there's all sorts of rumours that things are changing behind the scenes, but the fans are, because what Brendan Rodgers said last week, he sort of took one for the club almost by saying, the noise out there as if it was outside the club. It was mainly from within. I mean, could people like Barry, for example, who knows the game, always said, well, I'd rather be in Celtic's position points wise up until now. So I don't think there was anyone piling on against Celtic. They've had it quite rightly their own way for a couple of seasons.
Yeah, I think behind the scenes, Paul, I think we can all work it. I think we can all join the dots. People are jockeying for position behind the scenes, and ultimately it'll come down to Dermot, Desmond. This is where, when you're the majority shareholder, you need to make big decisions, potentially unpopular ones with people you might have worked with for a number of years, but you've got to go and make them for the good of your football club and for the good of your season ticket holders, your supporters who plough in the guts of £40 million a year into that football club. So big decisions need to be made, even if it comes good for Celtic, Paul, and they manage to flip this round and go and become champions in May, which is not impossible. I would say it looks unlikely right now, but not impossible. But even if that does happen, you've still got to go and change the structure of the club and some of the personnel, because it's not working. So Dermot Desmond has to decide, who do I want to stay at my football club, who can lead us best in certain departments, and go and make his decisions from there.